Taiwanese interactive theater with young people to make a difference.
I never had a total full picture of the show. I was always so much concerned with the content. Was it going to be true? Was it going to be honest? Were we going to really, were we going to be able to hold these stories with all the integrity and all the humility with which they came to us? Sultana was one of the stories that we collected really early on.
I'd never felt a conflict between being Muslim and being American. I'm Puerto Rican, so, I'm from this side of the world, and I've always felt like, Puerto Rican, and I've always felt American, and I've always felt Muslim, and I never felt that there was a conflict between those.
I had a dream. In this dream, I spoke. We spoke to each other.
Consistent images blasted of how we are these suppressed women who seem to have no say in the world. Women in these black veils, uneducated and married off by the time that they're 12, having no life. While this may be true for some, this is not every Muslim woman's story.
I had an interesting story with buying the hijab. I was looking for it along Jamaica Avenue, and I actually ran across this woman who had one on, and she was selling hats at the stand. And I said, I need to pick up a hijab. Where could I find one? And she says, there's this fabric store, maybe about 2 blocks down where you can get some nice ones. And I was like, really? So they can cut the cloth for you? I said, really? I was like, okay. And I was like, could you possibly show me how to put it on? She says, of course. I said, okay, so I'll be right back. So I went, I got the hijabs, I got the scarves, had them cut it and everything. Went back over to her. She folded in the triangle piece and she started to wrap it around me. And I could just see the look of joy on her face. It seemed like she got so much pleasure out of putting it on me and showing me how to put it on and wrap it. And I was like, wow. And I started to realize, okay, I'm starting to get a sense of what we're doing, why we're doing it. And it was just such an experience.
I don't wear the headscarf for any man. I wear the headscarf for God. My connection to my Lord is intimately tied with the way that I dress, with the way that I interact with people, with the way that I make my money, with the food that I eat, all those, with the way I treat my family. Those are all interconnected parts of my faith and my connection to God. And I don't need a man to tell me that. I have my own mind, and it's a choice, and that's empowering, which is completely opposite from what is perceived, that it's disempowering.
In horror, I am haunted by the thoughts of the outsiders, the other unknowns who dare not ask me who I am, but assume the right to tell me I am not free. Why do they think this? Do they not know that this is my choice? Wouldn't they really like to know? If only they would just ask. And when we performed at the premiere, in the facilitation, a woman stood up and asked a question. She said, I am Muslim, but I choose not to wear a headscarf.
I, as that Muslim feminist woman, felt really excluded by the dialogue that the 2 Muslim women in the headscarf have. The 2 of you are both wearing headscarf, and you left no room for me. So where am I in your dialogue?
So you as a Muslim woman who's made that choice somehow didn't feel at all represented up here.
Absolutely.
What would you say then about that choice not to?
I actually wore a headscarf for 9 years. I chose to wear it and I chose to take it off. And the reason I chose to take it off is because in the Quran, my holy book, there are only 2 verses that refer to the way a woman should dress. And so to dilute my entire existence into a headscarf for me, basically just it kills my religion for me. It's not about the way I look. It's my relationship with God. There's such an incredible diversity among Muslims. We're not monolithic. And that's why I say what I say. I salute you for bringing that voice out, but just recognize me as well, is what I'm saying.
Yes. I think when we did the show at the premiere, we really got a sense that we were close, but we hadn't landed yet. It wasn't quite right. And we took 2 weeks to just pour over it and do some edits and take the comments that came to us from the audience during the premiere.
Now that we've got all this, we've got to go back to where we were when we wrote it. And I think we have to look at that again and say, okay, are we doing that right?
I think it's important to show that a lot of women, even around the world, who are Muslim, they don't cover. It's not one of the 5 pillars of faith. It's important in the faith, but you can be Muslim and not cover.
There is a choice behind the veil for me. But I know that there are women in this world who do not have a choice. Women who are struggling for the right to walk as full citizens. And I work to make this a safer world for them. And for that, I must exercise my right to choose. So today, I choose not to wear the veil. Although you may be able to tell a Muslim by their kufi or by their headscarf, above all else, you will find it in their heart.
At first, I said, well, how effective is it going to be that they're not Muslims? And then after I saw the performance, I realized that it was really important that they were not Muslims. You know, it's for me to say, I'm not dangerous, I'm not a terrorist is one thing. People expect me to say that. But for somebody else who's part of another circle to look back and say they're not terrorists, they're not dangerous, they're people who share a common human experience with us is very powerful, and I appreciated it.
If only Muslims can tell Muslim stories, and if only African Americans can tell African American stories, and only to each other, then we're nowhere. So the idea really was to say, it's okay to cross conversations, to listen to each other, and if you're really listening with humility and honesty, that's how you breed peace.
After 9/11, a lot of women decided that maybe I should tie it in the back so it doesn't look Muslim, or, you know, improvise or take it off maybe. I wanted to say, look, I have a right to wear this headscarf. You know, I really have a right to wear this in this country. I'm American and I'm a Muslim, and I practice my faith. And there's nothing harming anybody about my headscarf, you know, and I'm going to wear it in your face.
When you look at me, what do you see?
An overprotected,
Neglected, spineless woman?
I think not.
I think not. Think
again.
again. I don't just happen to wear a headscarf.
It's my heart that brings me closer to Allah.
Like a Christian would wear a cross around her neck.
I am confident
About who I am and what I stand for.
I am proud to be Muslim. If you really want to know
What's under my veil?
what's under the veil,
What's under your veil? Just ask.
just ask.
Just ask.
La